How's it going, everyone? So about 13-ish hours ago, update 6.5 for Anime Vanguards dropped, and I'm going to do a, hopefully quick review because there really isn't too much to go over in this update, but, I'll go in that in a little bit. And I do apologize as this review is a little late. I just haven't had time to play the update and, make a video on it. But this event or update is basically a spring event, which is kind of odd. It is like the middle of summer, basically, at least in America. But I know their event schedule has been kind of off track, especially with like the winter update being so long. And I know this event will be shorter, so that I think, maybe a summer event can come in. I don't know. We'll see. I forget what the devs said. But with this spring event, we got a whole new banner, just like the, I think, is it 5.0 or is it might have been 4.0 update for the winter event. So in this event, we got a whole new banner, which includes a Vanguard unit, Kaguya from Naruto Shippuden. I haven't seen her, but I'm sure she is very good, like most Vanguard units in the game. And we got some other units from different animes and stuff. I've only gotten Arc, which is the name in game. I don't know the actual character, but their passives seem really interesting, especially with Bleed. And I think they can change elements, so I'll have to test that out. But I haven't gotten anybody else yet. And I haven't gotten a secret portal for Rimuru, I believe that's the name. So I'll have to grind for that and try them out. And also, I am really excited to get the Warline unit. I haven't watched Invincible, but the unit itself just looks super cool. So I'm excited about that. Going back to like the spring event itself, it isn't anything too different from the winter event, unfortunately. It's just a simple portal system. You go up until you get to tier 10 and then you just start farming tier 10 portals. The portals themselves have elemental reactions to make it a bit harder. You get currency, you get some boxes of loot here and there. You can buy evo items with flowers you get as a currency, or you can use those flowers on the banner. It's exactly like the winter update, which was in the game forever, right? So while I think it is a little copy and paste, I think the way they do portals in Anime Vanguards is a good system, and I feel like this is engaging, at least for the time being. I think this update is already better than the last update, which was 6.0. I mean, if we look right here on June 3rd, this is one update. 6.0 came out, the Guilty Gear update. It peaked at around 45k, 40, 44k the next day, and then it just slowly dwindled down like usual. But when this newest update came out, we went all the way up to 66k, and I think it's probably around 70k as of recording this video. It might be a little lower, but I saw that earlier. But I think that goes to show like how much more popular a game gets when it's focused on units or, anime characters that are popular or at least more well-known than like Guilty Gear characters. While I do respect the dev team for like branching out and doing unique topics, I do kind of disagree with what my statement was in an earlier video about like the community being mad about it being a Guilty Gear update, as I said something along the line of like, as long as the content is good, that's all that really matters. But I do think having a like, quote unquote connection to a character, or, just having a game you play get updated to an anime that you like for example, if Anime Vanguard's got a Berserk update, which is a manga, or I guess anime too, like that would be crazy for me. That would be my probably my favorite update, right? Because I like Berserk so much, right? So it's all preference. I'm sure there's a handful of people that like the Guilty Gear update and like the characters because they've played the games, right? But most people have not played Guilty Gear, at least who play Anime Vanguards, right? I think that was pretty clear with the player count and the overall reception of the update. And also the PvP, it was just very buggy on launch. I don't think it was a thing people were like dying for, right? It was kind of just something on the side. I think the people that enjoy that kind of game mode can play it, and the rest of us, including me, can just play the PvE and just the normal stuff that's being added. But I appreciate them for branching out and just adding more stuff. I mean, like you really can't complain that PvP is being added. It is kind of annoying that one secret unit, I forget their name, was locked behind doing PvP quests, but I don't know what I'm gonna say about that, right? But moving on, we got the usual. We also got mythic skins, or just unit skins in general on the spring event banner, right? But there was also a selection banner that got added, which I think is a great change. It really is. So basically, if you're unfamiliar with this new addition, if you go to the summon tab, there's going to be a new tab that is, I think it's just called selection banner, right? And you are able to choose one unit to place in the middle of a banner every 24 hours. So you can quite literally like guarantee a unit, or you have a lot higher chance of getting a specific unit that you want or just need for like meta or something, right? Because with the amount of units that get added each update, the banner just gets like filled the brim with outdated units that nobody wants, right? And you're like waiting and waiting. I know a lot of people like they're always waiting for like Saber or somebody like that, at least in like past updates, but you get the idea, right? This is a great change, or at least addition, since you can choose a unit you want once every 24 hours. That's pretty good time frame, I'd say. So this makes getting units like, or meta units, a lot easier, right? Another big addition was unit drop pity. So for example, on the Sid raid, as they give in the patch notes, there's a unit drop pity of 150. So if you clear this act, just probably this act 150 times, you're going to be guaranteed Sid in this example, right? And I think this is a good addition. I actually, at least for me, I know people have had a lot of like trouble getting units in the past. I mean, it's just all up to RNG again, but I think with this game, it's pretty generous with the drop rates of units, especially like, 1%, and sometimes they go up to like 3, or their drop rates increase as like the specific unit's about to go away. So I mean, this addition is just great on top of the pretty generous drop chances already, at least compared to like Anime Rangers X, but I know that's a whole different type of game, and the stages are way faster, so that's something to keep in mind. But moving on, we also got new UI, which I do like. I was getting kind of sick of the old UI, I'm gonna be honest. It felt a little outdated, surprisingly, which I still thought it looked good, but I do like the new UI a lot better, I would say. And of course, there was a bunch of quality of life and changes added to the game, and that was about it. Again, the spring event is basically the same as the winter event, just different units. A new Vanguard unit to chase for. I'm sure a lot of people will be macroing this update. That's expected. I do think this update is definitely better than the last one, and I think the player count says that for itself. Of course, this update again brought a bunch of familiar characters from anime and stuff, so that's pretty expected for the player count to be higher to chase units that people like, right? So that's about it. But yeah, there's a new spring event shop as well. You get rerolls, stuff like that. All the normal, again, like the winter banner. But I think I'm probably going to end it there. A little bit of a shorter review, I think. Well, maybe not. I'm kind of recording for a while now. But I want you to let me know what you think about this update, and if you're liking it or not. And if you got Kaguya yet, I'd be very surprised if you did, and very jealous. But again, I apologize for this review being a little late. It is what it is. And probably expect an Anime Rangers X video coming out later this weekend, or tomorrow, like the day after that or something, because I believe the game is updating and a new dev team is in place. So hopefully they bring Anime Rangers X to life again and add some well-needed changes and just make the gameplay more fun. It really needs an improvement. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Sub if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.